Okay, good. So I'll assume you have your chair.
Yes.
And that you're sitting towards the edge of your chair with your feet flat on the ground, about hip width apart. And your knees just over your ankles, or maybe your feet slightly ahead. Sitting up nice and tall. Feeling that weight of the sit bones right and left. And maybe just to start, just noticing whether you feel equal weight from right to left, or perhaps slightly more weight on one sit bone versus the other. Just noticing these parts of us that help us ground, both to the chair and to the floor or surface beneath us. And start to feel through the different points of the feet. So we have the 5 toes, and kind of wiggle them and press them into the ground. We have the big ball under the big toe. And to feel more of it, you can lift your toes and kind of lean into that ball. Just to feel it, and then replace the toes. And then we have the padding or ball under all the other toes as one unit. So you can play around and feel into that whole surface. And there's the outer edge of the foot, which runs from the pinky toe all the way back to the heel. And then right in the center of the heel. And then drop the hands to the side of the body. This might even change your posture a little as you bring the tissue of the core in towards the spine and up. Maybe lengthening through the spine. And letting the arms just kind of hang gently off the collarbones. Let's just do some movement through the shoulder to release any tension that tends to collect around the shoulders and neck. So we'll bring the shoulders up towards the ears, straight up. And just hold there for a moment. See if you can take a breath of ease, even with the shoulders up towards the ears. And on the exhale, you can bring the shoulders back to neutral, or maybe even press a little downward. And then we'll repeat that. So breathing in, holding the breath, maybe taking a breath of ease with the tension held, and releasing with the exhale. Now, one thing you can explore is as you're holding on the next one, as you breathe in and you hold, see as you take that breath of ease as you're holding, if you can feel movement through the spine, maybe the ribs, with the breath and expansion. And then release. Good. We'll do one more of those. Lengthening through the spine with the help of the shoulders. And then release. Good. Go ahead and shake out the shoulders and make circles in any way you would like. Just a little in-between tension reliever. No right or wrong. And then when you're ready, we're going to take a nice big inhalation, raising the arms overhead. So you'll flip the palms halfway up towards the ceiling and then continue on your way up, reaching overhead. Palms may come together or not. It's whatever's comfortable for your shoulders. And then exhaling down. Be aware of your core. Be aware also of the connection through your feet. You breathe in. Reach and exhale down. Just getting in touch with the breath. Getting in touch with the expansion through 360 degrees of the diaphragm, the mid-region. And maybe you want to look up at your hands, it's up to you. On the next raise of the hands, we're going to take the palms together if you can. If you need to bend the arms at the elbow, that's fine. So we have the hands slightly in front of the body, that's fine too. So what we're going to do is we're going to start to draw the fingers in the direction of the spine. So it might come just overhead, that might be enough. You also, if you're really flexible or open, you might be able to drop the palms of your hands behind you and touch right behind your neck. If that's too much, any other position along the way is fine. So try to bring the elbows around towards the front of the body as you move the hands down. So what we're going for here is a nice stretch through the back of the arm. And you can also add a little resistance depending on where you are. If you have your hands behind your back, then you can press into your wrists with the head and resist a little. And again, continue to lengthen the spine wherever you are. And then open the arms and can come back to the sides of the body. So we're going to repeat that 2 more times at your own pace. You don't have to hold as long. You can just keep moving. Breathing in nice and deep, and then finding, maybe bringing the elbows together. That's the other thing. If you can't bring the arms behind the back, then just work to bring the elbows toward each other so you'll feel it more opening through the shoulder blades. And then we'll do 1 more like that. This time when you release, we'll release the arms above with the palms together if you can, and then just bring them to the heart center, Anjali Mudra. This is a good opportunity to set an intention for the remainder of practice. What is it you'd like to feel or release or achieve for yourself? Good, and then let the arms release. Shake out the arms. And now sometimes when I see people shake, I see this mechanical, kind of rigid shake. And I'd like you to imagine you have water on your fingertips and you're trying to shake the droplets off. There's a little more jello-ness or freedom in the shake. It's really good for our lymph, which has no pumping system of its own. Good, and then you can rest your hands on your knees for a moment. We're going to drop ear to shoulder. You can go right or left, it doesn't matter. So we're not doing anything to try to pull the ear to the shoulder, just the natural weight of the head. And then back up. And to the other side. And I know there are times when you want to see what's happening, but I also encourage you, if you can, to close your eyes and try to just follow the sound of my voice. Of course, you can always check the picture if you need to, but then go back inside. We'll go to the other side with the ear again, so from the start. Back up to neutral, and to the other shoulder. And back up to neutral. We're going to turn the head now to look over one shoulder, only going as far as is comfortable, but notice as you shift or change and make slight variations in how you're sitting, that it might change and give you more flexibility. Back to neutral, and we'll go to the other side. One side might be a little tighter or tense. Try to keep the body box, which is the construction from shoulder to shoulder, shoulder to hip, and hip to hip. Everything's facing forward except the head. And we'll go back to the first side. This time you can let the shoulders start to move. So your hand that you're moving away from might slide towards your knee. The other hand might slide back. Hold this through the waist. Take a deep breath. And rotate back to neutral. And then we'll go the other way, just starting with the head alone. And then allowing the shoulder to move in the same direction as one arm slides forward and the other arm slides back with the shoulder. Hold here. Feel the strength through the waist. Deep breath. And then moving back to neutral. Just getting a sense for a moment of what we've done with the upper body so far and how those parts of you feel. And we'll start to move a little bit more with the lower body now. So first things first, we're going to lift ourselves onto one sit bone. So there's a little maybe side bend in the body as you shift your weight onto the right or left. And then tighten the opposite buttock as it kind of floats just off the chair. And then rest back down. And then the other direction, so change your weight. The other hip comes off, kind of floats there, and then just tighten that buttock. Good, and then release. We're going to do that a couple more times on each side. So shift, squeeze, and release, shift, Squeeze. And release. Good. This time, I'm going to invite you to add your arms. So as you come up onto one sit bone, one side, notice how your body bends with that. You're going to let the arm come up overhead and go in the direction of the bend. Now with the head, you're free to just look straight ahead, but it also can sometimes be nice to look down towards the shoulder. And then we squeeze that buttock, feeling the shortness of that side body. At the same time, the other side lengthens. Take a deep breath, feel any expansion through the rib cage. And then release back up, letting the arm come back down. Then we'll go the other way, so resting onto the other hip, finding that bend that wants to happen in the body naturally. And then letting the arm come into that bend and accentuate it. Looking wherever your head is comfortable, squeezing that floating buttock, feeling the short muscles contracting, and the other side lengthening. And then release back. Good. Okay, let's take a forward fold. So you decide if you want to come to the floor or not. And of course, if you have blocks and you do want to rest your hands on the blocks, you can have them standing tall, medium, or low. So we'll start with our hands or fingers pointing inward and just rest the hands right above the knees and folding at the hip crease forward. And you might find that you need to stop along the way, so just be comfortable here. And then at any point, if the body invites you to come down further, come down further. Breathing and allowing the body to soften. And you're welcome, if it's comfortable for you, to round your trunk all the way over your thighs and let your head dangle. So wherever you are, just feeling into that lower back area. You might even just shift your weight slightly with your trunk towards the right leg and then towards the left, so you can feel both sides of the spine getting a little bit of lengthening. One side is typically tighter than the other, so you might want to hold on that side. And you're welcome to shift from side to side as well. Try to bring your breath into the lower back. And then to come up, let's place the hands back up above the knee on the thighs. And then just press up with a flat back. So feel the strength of the buttocks and the legs engaging with the ground to help lift you. Take a deep breath when you arrive. Now let's get into the spine a little more. So we'll start to do some cat-cow. So still sitting on the edge of your chair, you're going to lean forward and bring the chest through and open. So we're arching the back, and then allow that same spot. So we're going to move from the lower back to draw you backward. So rounding through the spine now. And then from that same point, that lower back, let that move first. So the pelvis tilts. And then from the lower spine to the upper spine, you bring your chest through. So take your time, just focus on moving the lower back. That's what starts the momentum. And then each vertebra follows. And then likewise, try to move from the lower back. So the pelvis has to tilt downward. And then each of the vertebrae follows up the spine as you come into the chest. Now you can start to move a little quicker if you like. Again, just trying to move from the lower back. And then try to link your breath so that as you go back, you're exhaling. As you come through, you're inhaling. And then if you really want to speed it up and feel some flexibility and movement through the spine, feel free. Or you can keep it slow. Be aware of your core and that you're still pulling in that belly button towards the spine as well as all the other muscles of the core. Good. And then you can start to slow down again and come into a neutral place, just feeling any sensation through the spine, through the body. And we're going to do a little more opening for the chest. So you're going to bring the arms around to the back seat of the chair. And just find a place where you can rest. I might even change the chair so you can see better here. So find a place where you can rest on the seat of the chair on your palms. And so this might be enough of an opening through the chest. Your shoulder blades are coming together. The chest is lifted. The head might even be looking slightly upward. And just hold and note your breath here. I have my legs, my knees pinned together, my feet together. Everything is stitched together. Can you hear inhale and exhale as fully as when you are upright? And then if it becomes too much, feel free to come out. If you're okay, just a few more seconds. Keep lifting that chest. Deep breath, fill the chest, and release. Good. So there's one more stage of that I'd like to try if you're game. And this might look different ways for different people. So you're going to again have the hands, the palms on the back of the seat of the chair somewhere. Now, some of you might want to bend your knees into a tabletop, reverse tabletop position. So there's a little bit of strength required through the arms and through the legs. So what you're working to do here in this position is we want to bring the pubic bone up. And you can have the legs together or apart, so it might be more comfortable to have them apart. It's whatever your hips want to do. If you have your legs together, then you get the benefit of keeping the legs together, which is good for that whole inner thigh line. Now, for anyone who wants, you're welcome to extend the legs straight out, which does require quite a bit of arm strength. So if you feel comfortable with that, you can do that. And just hold, and of course, come down at any time that you need to. So as you center yourself again forward in the chair, just rest your hands on your lap for a moment and just feel now through chest, front of neck, shoulders, shoulder blades. And we'll work with the legs next. So let's bring one knee into the chest. We want to sit up nice and tall on the sits bones. You might even be a little bit more towards the back of the sits bones. And take 3 deep breaths here. And can you, rather than kind of hold on for dear life with your hands, can you engage more of that groin muscle to suspend the leg? You can still use the arms, but just kind of explore. What would it be like if you let go? How would that feel? And then let's release that leg. We'll go to the other side. Sitting up again nice and tall. Hugging in that thigh. And then just seeing if you can imagine what it would be like, or maybe even attempting to release the arms out to the side, or just to let go a little bit and see if you can still keep the leg up and the posture up and breathe. And continue with one more deep breath. And release. Okay, we're going to do that on each side again. So I've just turned back to the front here. So hugging in. This time we're going to hold on under the thigh somewhere. And notice that I've got my toes flexed back towards my shin. From here, you're just going to open the leg, and it might open all the way. It might only open a little fraction. All of it's fine. So you're just going to push away with the heel to the extent that you can. And release. Good. And then lower the leg. We'll do that on the other side. So hugging in the knee to the chest, toes flexed back towards the shin. Nice and tall on the sits bones and really feeling through this grounded foot as well. Holding on the back of the thigh somewhere. And then just extending that leg and heel outward as far as is comfortable for you. Got some creaking this morning or afternoon. Good, and then back down and release. Okay, so we are going to, for this particular chair and for most chairs, unless they're round, it's comfortable to open one leg on each corner. We're going to do some side bending here and kind of a variation of some warrior and triangle poses. So note that my ankles are just about under my knees, so that's what you'll want to find for yourself. And where you are on the chair is also going to have an impact. So if you can, try to bring yourself right to that corner. Big truck passing by. I don't know if you can hear that. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to come down to one elbow on one thigh. And there's going to probably be a nice stretch already that you're going to feel in the side body. Now the thing here is that we want to stay really connected through the feet. So you kind of press in with the feet even as you lean. And from here, once you're comfortable, you're breathing normally, then you can start to explore with your free arm some movement, some opening and circling. Might be nice to just hold somewhere, or you can keep circling. Notice where tension builds up, where you start to grip, and just see if you can release that unnecessary tension. You can make circles in the other direction as well. So if you were going front to back, then try going back to front. And only go as far as is comfortable for that shoulder. Good, and then we'll use that arm with an inhale to come back up. And we'll go to the other side. So bringing the forearm to the knee or just above the knee. And again, that might be enough of a stretch here. What we don't want is for that front shoulder to kind of drop forward. So keep working to bring those shoulders in line as you sit nice and tall. And then we can start to work with our arm. Just exploring range of motion through the shoulder. It can be really nice to inhale as you rise, exhale as you lower, but you don't have to do that. And look for any gripping or tightening or kind of tension that builds up and try to let it go. And you can reverse the direction of the arm at any point. Good. And then we'll use that arm to help us up as we inhale and back to neutral. So sitting nice and tall, but remaining with the legs open unless you need to change that for yourself. I'd like to do a wide-legged forward fold here. So again, have the hands with the fingers pointing inside and start to fold at the hip crease, just going as far as is comfortable. For some people, this might be as far as you get. If you can, come down to blocks. You can rest on the blocks or come all the way to the floor. Now we're working to keep the knees open over the toe line. We don't want the knees coming in. And notice if you're holding your head up, just let it rest wherever it may be. The other thing that you can do if you like is you can use the purchase of your elbow and forearm to open one knee at a time. So pressing the knee away, really nice inner thigh stretch. And you can just do one at a time and then switch, or you can do both at the same time. And then when you're ready, bringing your hands back somewhere onto the thigh above the knee and coming up with a flat back, maybe pushing the feet into the ground to help you rise. And then walking the feet back towards each other and pausing for a moment just to feel and sense through the legs, lower back, anywhere else where sensation is strong or different. And prepare for a standing posture. We're going to do a down dog with the chair. So you can either use the seat of your chair or you can use the back of your chair. Just flip it however you want it and give yourself room so that you can walk backward. So let's first just find mountain pose. Spreading the toes nice and wide. And feeling more of your weight towards the balls of your feet. There's a slight bend in the knees, so they're not locked back. And let your sacrum, the lower part of your spine, kind of rest downward. So this does require a bit of strength because we're having to use our feet and the strength in our feet to keep us balanced towards the balls of the feet. So just breathe. And feel free to explore, the comfort or neutrality of your pelvis. We don't want to tighten the glutes. We want them to be relaxed. but we don't want to hang at the belly either. We want to bring this tissue in and up. And then as you are, if you're able to rest on your toes, like if I drop my heels, that's a little different. If you could just imagine being able to have a piece of paper slipped under your feet. So if you are able, we're just going to do a little balance practice. So have your chair there so you can grab hold in an instant if you need to. We're just going to maybe lift one hand or both if you feel comfortable. And then just stand poised on the balls of your feet. And if you fall back to your heels, that's fine. And then release. And then you can place your hands on the chair and start to walk back. You're going to go as far as to have your ankles right under your hips and start to bring your spine down. Now, everybody will be different here. Some of you might be comfortable like this. If you can bring your chest or sternum through your arms a bit more and flatten your back parallel to the ground. Otherwise, just find a position that works for you anywhere in between. Now my feet are a little wider than hip width apart. And this can be quite a bit of weight on the shoulders. So if that's not comfortable for you, you can always come up a little higher. Or you can shift your weight still. Now this is the trick. Still stay towards the toes, but allow your buttocks to kind of lean backward. And that takes some of the pressure and stress out of the shoulders. If I am flat on my feet and bringing my sternum through, then that creates some tension. If I'm on my toes and all my weight is forward on my arms, that also creates tension. But if I'm on my toes and I lean, or mostly on my toes, and I lean slightly back, and then my heels might drop, but there's not a lot of weight there, then that takes some of that stress out of the shoulders. So just take another deep breath here. We'll be quiet for a moment. And then I'm going to invite you, we're going to come down to the ground. So if you want to do a forward fold here, if that's comfortable for you, you don't have any heart issues, just allow yourself staying with most of your weight on your toes, knees bent if you need them bent. And feel free to hang there for as long as you like. Otherwise, you can just bend your knees and just come down to the ground if that's comfortable for you. If you're not able to get up and off the ground easily, then you can just sit back down in the chair for our Shavasana. Okay. So do whatever you need to be comfortable. So if you didn't have a mat because you thought this was all chair, then go ahead and grab something. You can even lay on a bed or a couch. It's just so you can feel the full length of your body, which the chair doesn't really allow. And just come onto your back, taking your time to really settle in as if you were lying on a beach somewhere in the sand, and the sand was just kind of holding and molding to your body. And just begin to find some stillness. So there might be some little things that need to adjust. Go ahead and allow that. And then just start to find a place of no movement. Letting your limbs become heavy. And then with each breath, breathing in some quality of life that you feel would be beneficial for you, whether it be peace or joy or love or forgiveness, any of those qualities, breathe in. And when you exhale, release anything that is counter to that quality. You can even make the Ujjayi breath, that Darth Vader type of sounding breath. And I like to imagine as I exhale that smoke of different colors and just all kinds of poisons and toxins are being exhaled and released through my body as I exhale. Make space in your body for that wonderful quality that you're calling in. Feel the cells of your body shifting to accommodate this quality. And then release all doing, and we'll take a few minutes in silence. Just allow that quality to permeate all of your cells. It will do its work without any effort or thought or need to focus the mind. Just release every tension, including mental tension, and trust in that quality. You know, you of course are welcome to stay here longer if you like. If you're ready to move, you can start to move your fingers and toes. You can tighten one buttock and then the other and just feel how that changes your relationship to the ground. You can press different parts of your body in towards the ground, maybe lifting your chest or pressing in with your head. Just explore some tension as you come back into a regular waking state. You're welcome to do a long body stretch, tightening all the muscles around the bones in both directions. And then releasing everything back to center. Take your time to bring your knees in so you're standing on your bent legs. You can also just drop to one side and kind of roll into a little fetal position. Take a moment of rest there. And of course, if you're in the chair, you can simply kind of tuck your both knees into your chest and kind of just make yourself into a little ball. And then pressing with that upper arm to bring you back upright. And you can come back to your chair to finish class, or you can be on your knees or in easy pose, whatever's comfortable. We'll rub the hands together, bringing them to the chest, Anjali Mudra. Bring your mind back to your intent when we started class, if you set one for yourself. And also bring to mind again the quality that you chose to bring into you as you breathed. Deep breath in and hold the breath. Release it when you need to. Thank you for joining me today. How was that, Marie?
Oh, thank you, DL. Yes, that was very good.
Great.
Yes, I really, yes, very like when I would have done it before. So no, I really liked it. And I like the fact you went through the whole body, the upper and the lower.